item that we designed, it was trending, but because the production delayed, so the whole batch of stock arrived after the trend ended. So then it became dead stock. That incident triggered a few unhappy customers, and I think the last straw was the customer was so angry, she's accusing us of scamming her, this and that.
Okay, 欢迎收听今天的 LetsTalk Podcast。那今天我们会比较特别一点，就是我们的语言会切换成英文。So the reason why we are changing to English is because today we have a very special and unique guest. So let's welcome Michelle. Okay, so Michelle is the founder of Kiss Tell and also Shanghuan's friend. So maybe you would like to introduce yourself a bit to the audience?
Yep, sure. Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. So I'm the owner and founder of Kiss Tell. So what we do is we initially started with selling shoes, but now we have moved into specializing in innerwear as well. And I'm also a mother of two. I have a 5-year-old daughter and a turning 3 soon son.
Both very cute. Yeah, I think that basically I know you since 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the year that you get married.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the year you get married. So basically that's the year that I knew you.
Mm-hmm.
So we met. And we met in a business networking.
Yeah, BNI.
Oh yeah, BNI. So basically that's when we met, and also that from then on became friends, and yeah, that's how it works. So basically Kiss Tell is a unique name for the brand. So probably you can tell us a bit, and what are the inspiration behind this the name of Kiss Tell?
So back then, right, when I started this business, I actually started it when I was still in uni, right? So I actually run it part-time. So before starting the business, I went to my sister's room one day and told her, I want to start selling something online. So let's brainstorm together and let's come up with a name. So after a few brainstorming sessions, I told her, I want the name to be very unique, easy to remember, something catchy. So then we came up with the name Kiss Tell. So it resonates very well with our brand. So it has a bit of, we are a bit bold, we're a bit confident and a bit flirtatious. Because when you think about the name Kiss Tell, right, it's usually when you would like to share something exciting, something intimate with your friends. So this actually resonates well with our brand in terms of we promote a lot of personal style and individuality. So every piece we curate is desired to empower women and also boost their confidence. Yep. So which comes up to sharing a very delightful secret with your friends.
But I'm curious, is Kiss Tell the first name that you guys thought of that time, or do you have other names as well, but then end up you choosing Kiss Tell?
This is the one and only that things that first came out, and okay, so this is the one.
Actually, it was the one and only one that we came out and decided. And I think the main thing was that my sister was actually reading a book called Kiss Tell. So she's like, why don't we just why don't we just use this name? Then we thought about it. It's okay, let's try.
So that time it was back in your university time.
Yes.
And you're actually doing it part-time. And I believe it was an e-commerce time, right? So you started with e-commerce.
Yep. So back then, what we call what is known now as e-commerce as blog shops. If you know the term blog shop means you're in my era.
Yeah, basically I think both of us in the 90s. Yeah. So basically we know about that. And that was I think during that time that was a blooming very first e-commerce that went up in Malaysia. I think that is way before Shopify, right?
Yeah. Back then there was no Shopify. I think a lot of people were using... Back then I only sold on WordPress. I think it was really like a blog, and then we set it blog post selling individual items. Then I went overseas to study. So then when I was there, I was like, online shopping is such a big thing. Why we don't have it in Malaysia? So when upon graduation, so I thought when I came back to Malaysia, I actually realized, why is there nobody selling size 3 shoes? And because I already had the connection with suppliers, because I was selling online, right? So I actually went up to my supplier and asked her, hey, can you actually help me? I want to design some shoes. I want to have this size to this size. She initially rejected me. Said, no, we don't do customization. Then I was like, please, nobody's doing it. Can you support me? Can you help me? So she's like, okay, sure. Then when we actually started, I remember clearly we only started with 2 pairs, 2 design.
Yep.
Yeah. I think back then when I came back, I decided, okay, you know, there was like nobody is selling things online. I think I should be like one of the first few to start.
Considered the pioneer.
Yeah. So back then we were still using PrestaShop. I don't think there was
yes.
Shopify. Yeah.
So
So PrestaShop.
So, as in like what Kiss and Tell actually, I mean the brand of Kiss and Tell, right, is actually a female fashion. So it started off like what you mentioned. It started off as from shoes, high heels, and now it actually ventured into innerwears. So basically, along the way, like for how many years?
This is our 11th year.
So 11 years. What kind of challenges that face in terms of like running a female fashion brand in Malaysia?
Okay, that's a very good question. So being in a fashion brand in Malaysia, I think the challenge come from because we are a very diversified culture, right? So and also the weather preference here. Yep. So and also we celebrate a lot of festive season, like just now what we were mentioning, Chinese New Year, Raya, Deepavali, Christmas. So all this, right, is actually like an ongoing challenge for us. So you have to make sure your production, your stocks level is sufficient to cover all this festive season. But I think like what really matters is that you really need to know what your brand stands for, who your target audience is, and you need to uphold your core values. So for us, when we started with shoes, we knew that there was a market gap between shoes that are comfortable but not fashionable. So there's only one. So we combine both of it. So if something is not comfortable, we will never produce it. So this is the value that we uphold even until now with our innerwear line. If the bra is not comfortable, you will never see it on our website. So everything we sell, we prioritize a lot on the comfort.
As what you mentioned, like you mentioned, as in like that, there's kind of diversified of audience and also the market segments in Malaysia. So because mainly we have different races, we have Chinese, we have Malays, we have Indians, and we have others, the foreign expats and so on. So is this something that you put into consideration when it comes to designing the products like your shoes or even innerwears?
Yes, before this, when it came to shoes, we had to really, really know who are we targeting, because different races, they have different color preference. So we need to make sure that the shoe color is acceptable if we were to target a wider range versus a specific range. So when it comes to innerwear, I believe the same thing applies as well. So if we are, say, targeting like a specific race, we cannot sell things that is too sexy. It might not work for them.
Yep.
So for example, we carry stick-on bra, wireless bra, girders, right? So we have to accept the fact that our stick-on bra will probably be widely used by like Chinese versus like not many Malay would actually buy our stick-on bra because it's more for sexy clothing, right? But they are okay with our wireless bras, our girders.
So basically, as an entrepreneur and also as a brand owner, what is the motivations that push you move on daily? As in like, because basically like what you mentioned, you are not only the brand owner of Kiss and Tell, you are the mothers of 2. So basically there's a juggling between home and business. So it's definitely not easy. So what motivates you like moving on daily, as in like, you know, from day one when you first started Kiss and Tell?
Okay, so in terms of business, what really motivates me is all the positive feedback, positive or negative feedback from customers, that actually, you know, when customers believe in us, they believe that our products are actually helping them solve an issue. So for example, our customers are wearing our bras every single day. So we have customers who have all the colors or even all the designs that will come up to us. Hey, can you please find more design? We already have everything, but we still want to buy because it's very comfortable. So this is actually very empowering. So you know that we are actually, you know, in the right direction. You know, our products are validated. Our customers love it. So this would actually like, you know, fuel the team and I to like actually, you know, explore or expand the range even more to like cater for them. And also we know that, okay, we are upholding our core values. So comfort, quality. Yep. And then also like when we set like business goals together with the team and like seeing it realize as a team, like when you overcome like challenges and obstacles to get to that, I think it's very rewarding as well. And then in terms of family, as the family, I think in the early stage of like when I was still a mom, so my focus was just being a mom. So I believe that, that you cannot really have everything all at once in life, but at different stages, you need to prioritize what's important. So when my kids were still very young, so my priority is obviously the kids. So for me back then, when my focus is just being a mom, my priority will just be, okay, as long as the business survive, I'm okay with it. So now that my kids are slightly bigger, I'm like, okay, kids are slightly bigger, they're back in school, they have started school, so I can go back to
put your prioritize on the business again.
Yes.
I'm curious, like when you first started, you were like just doing for shoes, high heels mainly. What makes you start to think of like maybe I should try and explore a new product?
So I think we would actually like to include more customers, sense that our customers are also growing with us. And then if we are able to actually, cater to their needs. So what we do very well is that we listen to customers' feedback. And then we listen to what they want. And if it resonates with us, then we won't mind exploring it. So what do I mean by this is that we actually found out there's a market share for people who are looking for quality, affordable and comfortable innerwear. So we just went on and try. And then when we get like such a positive feedback, and then we realized that, hey, maybe this is something that, we can focus on. And that's what we are actually doing, like moving forward.
So after like when you first started with shoes and then after that innerwears, do you have any plans to explore more other products? Like, did you have any customers like, hey, Michelle, maybe you can try, maybe dress or anything else? Okay,
so in between, right? In between shoes and innerwear, we were actually manufacturing clothes at one period of time.
Yep.
But I found that to be very, very challenging because clothings, apparels are very trend-based. So what happened was that there were a few instances. For example, the item that we designed, it was trending. But because the production delayed, so the whole batch of stock arrived after the trend ended. So then it became dead stock. So it's actually very scary. But then there were also like one instance where I was personally looking for like a high-waisted white leg pants, right? But because I'm short, so can't really find any in the market. So we made our own. And then when that batch of stock arrived, it so happened to be the white leg pants trending season. So we managed to sell thousands of it. So it's really very trend reliant and festive season reliant. So our sales will only peak during festive season, which I think it's a very high risk. So once you cater, for example, we manufacture a batch of cheongsam, we only have that 2-3 months to sell. After then, it will just become dead stocks. Same for baju kurung, you only have that 2 months to sell, then it will be dead. So I feel like it was a very risky
investment.
Yes.
Would this consider as something, a common challenge that every single fashion brands will face?
I believe that if you are really the fashion kind, you always chase trend, then you need to be always ahead of the game. So, but if you have very deep pockets, then you can do it.
Future investment.
Because what I said, if your item arrives and the trend is no longer there, then it's a very huge risk for small businesses like that. And I also realized that, post MCO, many people's clothing style has changed. Even for shoes, we noticed that nobody really want to wear high heels anymore. Everyone is just going out in sandals, so we had to also kind of switch to that kind of direction. So for clothing, I realized a lot of people are just going out in their gym clothes. You don't really see people overly dress up nowadays. I think the MCO has changed everybody's preference and style.
I think it's not like the post MCO that is Malaysian style, wearing comfortables, walk out with sandals. I think that's in Malaysian style.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or maybe because I'm not in the fashion brand, because you're in the fashion brand, so you can see. But to me, whenever I walk out, even to malls or what, everyone is just just t-shirt, just jeans, and then just sandals. It's very different from, because I saw some comments say from China, They say like, oh, in Malaysia, people just go out with sandals. And they'll be, it's like culture shock for them.
I
Like to
see.
them, whenever they go out, they have to like dress properly, everything. But for us, as long as it's comfortable, and we can just go out with sandals.
Yeah, I think there's not only like culture shock for China, because basically when my Japanese friend, right, they first visit Malaysia, so we brought them along. So I still remember that at the time I was in a t-shirt, a short, and just a sandal, because basically I forgotten about my shoes. So I just wear sandals. And I went to KLIA airport and then picked them up. And like the first thing they asked me, as in like, so you just wake up from sleep? I was like, no, this is my casual attires. So like when they tour around like KL, right, in KL for a week, and they were just like, that was like, they couldn't believe that people were actually went out without makeup. That was like before MCO, so that nobody actually wear masks. So they couldn't believe that, as in like ladies or even girls went out without makeup, or even like they can just went out with a t-shirt and a short pants and just a pair of sandals. So that was like considered a culture. I don't know whether it's disaster or like it's a culture shock. Yeah, I mean, obviously from their face, they are telling me that, wow, how could you walk out to the street with sandals, without makeup, and even with the shorts? Yeah.
To us, it's not a problem lah. But then now that you are saying this, it's like, so from a fashion, like from a fashion brand, that you can see that the style of us wearing outside, has changed.
Yes.
Right.
So one curious question from me, as in like, if you were given a chance to start the brand again, would you still choose fashion brand, female fashion brand?
I think yes, but I probably will. How to say? I feel like what I've learned all this while probably like shape the brand to where it is today. Because without all the failures, the journey we've been on, I don't think we would able to come to where we are today. So you ask me if I would do it again, I would say yes.
So like probably how would you do it differently?
How would I do it differently? Okay, so how would I do it differently? Very good question. So I started the brand being alone, right? So if I were to do it differently, I'll probably like get like strategic partners in to help me where in areas where I'm not good at. So seek strategic partnership so that we are able to like, grow the brand even to a bigger scale, versus because if I'm doing this alone, there's only so much I can do.
Yep. Yeah. Right.
And also probably seek like mentorship or coaching earlier on. Because I believe like a qualified coach or mentor would be able to see a lot of blind spots and probably get you to better, like help you grow the business better.
Yeah,
or like
position your business position betterly. Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with that, because basically, like what you did, as in like in the beginning, I started everything myself. So everything I do it myself. So it was just like, I would say the main challenge is like what you mentioned, as in there's so much we can do.
Yes.
And when you are just alone, everything you just have to be
try and error.
Yeah. And also like there's no one you can discuss to. Yeah. So yeah, I think probably it's not only about strategic partner, but also a team.
Yes.
A team that can come together to put all your visions, all your ideas together.
Yeah. So I've only recently started like really setting up a proper team, I think last year.
Yeah. I think we went through this topic a lot of times.
Yes. So it's still an ongoing challenge.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you, as in terms of it's an ongoing challenge.
Yeah. But
So
I saw like how much help, like, having team members there to be there with you. Like, they're able to see things you are not able to see. Then they're also able to execute things that you're not able to do alone. So it really like, frees up more time for you to go and do like other strategic planning. So it's very important. So that is something I would have done earlier.
I think it's still not too late lah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, everything happens for a reason lah.
Thankfully.
yeah, I think it's not too late, because basically like our side, we also just restructured like early of the year or even last year. So yeah, nothing is too late. That's what I've been telling you all the time. Is that it's nothing too late. there is always still opportunity to fix what's not right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So since now you are building your own team and your market now is mainly on local market, is it like Malaysia?
Yep, mainly still Malaysia.
So do you have plans like go internationally with your team, like expanding? So maybe you can expand your business as well into like a greater field.
Yep. So currently we do actually have plans to expand internationally, but what's our strategy now is actually to partner with digital platforms to reach out to a broader audience. But for our own website, we are still very much focused on Malaysia market, and the neighboring countries like Singapore, Brunei, Philippines, they make up a very, very small percentage of our sales.
So do you found, as in, since you already penetrate like some of the nearby countries like Philippines, as what I heard you mentioned before, was Philippines, Singapore, right? So do you see any difference in terms of preference, like the customer preference in fashion brands, or like in terms of products, in terms of the specifications?
What I can say is they are willing to spend more. So if they like something, right, they will just, even without like purchase history, they will just like buy all the colors and they'll just give it a try.
For the first time, and they just go with all the colors.
Wow.
Yep. So this is the slightly different behavior that we see. Yep. And I think it's because our buyer did mention that when we are in Malaysia, we are a local brand. But when Kiss and Tell go overseas, we become an international brand to the local people there. So you know how, like even in Malaysia, we are more biased to support international brand, right?
So I think it's more atas like this.
So I think it's same for them. So when we are there, we become their international brand. So they're more like, I think, like intrigued to support international brand versus local brand.
So probably why don't you just switch your market and just go international? I think that happens to certain local brands as well, right? I mean, as what I noticed, there is certain local fashion brand. They actually seize up their operations, not to say operation, they seize up their market in Malaysia. And they started to penetrate countries like Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Philippines, and even China.
Yep.
And I can see that they are doing very well.
Okay. I think as of now, we do not have that plan yet, because when it comes to penetrating neighboring countries, I think cost is a huge cost of concern. So for now, we are self-funded, right? So
yeah.
So we still have to do what we are able to. But who knows? Like maybe like in the long-term game, we can actually do that, or maybe we can even like partner with local brands there to see how we can grow the business together. Yep.
Definitely. So, this is something that very personal, because basically like we are friends, so we always in touch. So that I know that like not long ago you actually experienced some medical conditions. So what these moments or like this experience that you went through, like taught you about life, taught you about as in like in terms of your life, in terms of your business, in terms of your professional life?
I always tell people that I am currently living my second life now. Yep. I know, as cliche as that sounds, but I think like what I really gained from this, this whole health scare is that gratitude is the top of everything. So what I mean by that is that every morning when I wake up, I'll be very thankful that I'm alive and breathing. I think these are some like very small things that we don't actually
appreciate it.
Yes.
Like when you are still in a healthy and also in a normal conditions.
Yes, correct. But like when something like that happened to you, you'll be like, okay, I'm thankful my heart is beating. I'm thankful like, like yes, today I can wake up, I can do my things properly. And also like I also value my time a lot now. So I learned like previously, right, when we always have this misconception about work-life balance. I think as an entrepreneur, it's very, very difficult to achieve that. But what I've learned now is work-life integration. So what I mean by that is that, we all have different roles to play every day.
Yeah.
So for example, if today I choose to focus on my work, so I shouldn't beat myself up if I'm not able to spend time with my kids, even though it's school holiday, because I chose to do this. So when you choose something, right, definitely there are things that you have to sacrifice. But on weekends, if I choose to be with my family, then I choose not to touch my work at all. So this is a huge change which never happened to me before. And for me, right, I've always been a workaholic.
Yep. Agree.
Weekday, weekend, day and night. What time until 1, 2 a.m. I'm still on doing work one. But like I think after like this whole experience, right, it has really taught me that, we have to prioritize what is important for today, for tomorrow. Like we cannot have everything all at once, but we can have different things at different stages. And then also like we call this living life by design. So you live your life by how you choose it. I used to beat myself up one, like I know work is very important, but then I also feel very guilty that I'm not there for my kids. So this actually it creates a very imbalanced thing for yourself. Then you will be very unhappy every day because like the mom guilt is there. But like actually, like then I realized that if I chose that today I need to focus on work, then today work is work lah. Then yeah, so you have to make up for that, right? And also I think like in terms of work, I'm actually very thankful that my team was able to keep things going, because the whole of Q3 and beginning of Q4 I wasn't even in office. But like thankfully things like ran smoothly. I mean there were hiccups here and there, but they managed to solve and like continue the business on without my preference. So I'm very thankful that like thankfully like I had like some people, like my team members were able to help me through this very difficult situation.
Now that I feel like it's a not to say right timing or what, it's like because previously you mentioned like you were just like alone doing all this, and then you're starting growing up team.
Yep.
And then I mean unfortunately something happened to you, but luckily that this time you already have a team. Like imagine what if you're still alone when you suffer this, like it's gonna really like impact your business a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It will be very scary. Like, I really cannot imagine what would have happened, because I wasn't even in the right state. Like I think if you ask me any question, right, I would probably like I don't even know how to respond to you. Like I wasn't able to like pick up information fast, or like I cannot like I think my speech was also like not like on point like now, and also like definitely the thinking part was like a bit
kind of like slow down.
Yeah. And I think like after the heart surgery, I was so weak. I couldn't really do anything. Like I couldn't even like wash a cup. That's like how weak I was. Like so like thankfully like I like did. I mean like I wasn't really like needed to be there physically. Like of course like I was like texting with the team and all lah. But like that I'm like really grateful that they are able to be there for the company.
Probably it's also something to slow you down. I mean, this incident itself slow you down. Like what you mentioned, when we are running a business, we are rushing day by day.
Yes.
And we are working day and night. And yeah, it's just for like, from your incident itself, right? I also realized that I was like working, never stop.
Yeah, I keep telling you, please take the day off, focus on your wife, go holiday. Like,
I mean,
because it's like, I think what I realized is that, after that incident, it really scares me that it made you rethink life, that you will actually come to terms that, hey, actually my time on earth is actually really limited.
Yeah, and you will never know what's next.
Yeah, like I could have been paralyzed, I could have been this and that, but like thankfully, like it wasn't too bad of an impact, so that then I could, but it also took a while for me to recover from it.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm still trying to pick up as in how to slow down my life.
But I like the point where you say about like the work-life balance thing, but now you're changing in a state like, okay, let's say you choose to focus in work, then you just focus on work. Because like I find myself a bit of workaholic as well, but I never thought of this idea, And now that after listening to what you said, then I was like, oh, seems like something new that I can actually explore.
Yeah, like even though my sister has always been telling me, you cannot beat yourself up. Like you are doing the best for your family. It's like deep down like this is the best thing I'm doing for my family. But why the hell am I feeling like
guilty.
that?
I think it's actually a sense of responsibilities, because basically we want everything the best.
Yeah.
So and we always think that we can do everything. We always think that we are the strongest.
Or like, oh, what other people can, I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, we are comparing ourselves with others, and also, in fact, I would think that it's not like comparing with others. It's actually that you are comparing with yourself. you are beating up yourself because basically you always think that you or me or anyone others is like we are the best.
Yep.
And we are sure that we can do this. But in fact, there is only so much of abilities that we can actually spend on a day.
Yep.
Like there's only 24 hours a day, and probably our active moments is just like probably the 12 hours, 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah. Correct.
So basically right now it's actually almost come to the end of 2023. So 2024 is coming. So signature questions that I will ask everyone is like, what's next for you?
Okay, very good question. So like previously I discussed with you, so I'm also in the process of restructuring the team.
Yeah.
So like opening up more roles to like help me and the business better.
Yeah.
So that's in terms of business, and like next year, because we are still in the phase of phasing out our shoes to really fully focus on innerwear. So we intend to get all that sorted out latest by Q1, so we can really like pivot and just focus on innerwear, and also listen. Always, I think the key in business is always listening to customers' feedback, whether it's good or bad, because bad feedback will actually help you. It's able to help you to see the blind spot in your business and like what you can do to overcome it. So previously, like one of the instances was that we had a lot of same-day delivery requests, but I wasn't able to find a solution on our website to cater to that. And like even though we have stated on our checkout page that okay, same-day delivery, we will calculate the price for you, but on the website it's stated as free, right? But we always state that it's not free. I mean, we write that it's not free. The payment you have to pay to Lalamove driver because we don't collect the money. So that incident like triggered a few unhappy customers. And I think the last straw was like the customer was like so angry, like she's like accusing us of scamming her, this and that like was like really like, okay, it's time to look into this. So when we finally found a solution, and I also realized that my customer service was wasting too much time replying to all these inquiry, how much it costs, so I started to ask like other business friends, like, you know, what are the options? How do you all actually cater for these kind of things? So we managed to actually integrate with Lalamove. So now our rate is actually reflective of the real-time rates. So that actually helped us, okay, solve one issue. And then with this, right, my customer service no longer have to find out how much it costs because the rate is already stated.
It's like auto-generated.
Yes. So it frees up a lot of her time also, because she was complaining to me that she's spending too much time attending to all this. So like with all these small little things, I think as the business grow, there will be more and more challenges that we have to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think like this would have present itself like a few years ago. Like same day delivery wasn't even a thing. But now it's like every single day we are getting like so many requests. So now that this is settled, so we can see that okay, our customer service is no longer like have to reply to like unnecessary messages that, you know, it can all be generated on the website. Yeah. So for me, like what I'm actually looking to improve is actually a lot of like internal processes, like, you know, come up with proper SOP, because we never had that. Because I think as the brand continues to grow, right, when you're processing like, let's say X amount of orders versus 100 amount of orders a day, your process is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are in that phase. So there's a lot of things that we need to fine tune. I think like next year will be a lot of fine tuning, hiring, setting up KPIs, and also like guiding like the team to like, you know, you have to give them like a direction on what's next.
Yeah.
And in terms of personal, I think my family and I, we haven't really been on a holiday for a long time. So I think
So do I.
yeah. So definitely next year, like I think we are planning a family holiday. My sister is coming back from overseas. So finally we are going for a family holiday, and like the big family lah. So personally, like I have plans with my husband to spend time with each other. Like, and also for our kids also, we are planning to bring them somewhere during Puasaman, like locally.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
spending more time with the family. And I learned that, you know, you actually have to be intentional to actually set all this up. So like we like write down when we want this to happen, like
Yeah.
and actually make it happen. Because if it's just like you talk only, it won't come true.
Yeah, exactly.
It will never happens.
So
Because
this is
just like-
something I learned. Yeah.
Like this year alone, I've been saying that I want to take a rest. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
take holiday, but it never happens.
Yeah, correct. So you have to put it in your calendar.
Hopefully,
Set goals by Q1. I must go somewhere.
hopefully. Yeah. So like, what you trigger me is like, what you mentioned just now is actually trigger me as in terms of like this, by completing year 2023, right?
Mm.
It will be my 4th year
Mm.
not having holiday.
Oh no.
This will be my 4th year of not having holiday. It's like continuous since, and it's probably since pandemic.
Yeah. Okay, I'm slightly better. At least I went to Legoland with my daughter and son last year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. So probably we just need to adjust a bit and putting down and just get it done.
I think like what you said, just block the calendar.
Yeah. So for Shangwan, his KPI is Q1 must go holiday.
Hopefully. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think probably another question is like, since I witnessed how you transfer from how to say how you transform from shoes business to innerwear business, even though it's actually for female, it's also for female market, but it's definitely two different. I mean, it's two different products, two different categories of products. So how different it is in terms of handling these products, probably in terms of design, in terms of customer demand, like what kind of differences that you face when in this transformation?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So when it comes to shoe, right, there's only like a few shapes of shoe, like pointed toe, round toe, open toe. So there's only 3 kind of silhouette that you can play with. Whereas for bras, there's a lot, like there's half cup bra, there's full cup bra, there's padded bra. So I mean, like there's so much more to learn when it comes to designing and like, curating what we want to carry. We still stick back to our core value, which is comfort and quality. So we always try all the products out first. So for example, if this bra, it looks good, but when we put it on, it's not comfortable, so we won't sell. Yeah. So I think like knowing what your brand stand for is still very, very important. Because for example, right, if today I tell you, yeah, when you buy anything from Kiss Tell, the comfort and quality is guaranteed. But when you get it, you don't feel that the product can deliver. I mean, will you trust us again? So for us, even though venturing into innerwear is a very new direction, but we are seeing a lot of repeating customers. So what I mean by that is that the customer maybe first order, they'll buy one color. Next order, they'll buy all the colors. So what does that show you? That we are actually, walking the talk.
Yeah, they trust your brand. That's why they come back and buy again and buy more.
I'm just curious, right? So I don't know. It's always curious in terms of like, how many pairs of innerwears a person need. That they would.
Correct.
I think probably every day.
So the
it's part of-
biggest order we have seen this week is 18 items. 18 SKU. So around 20 to 23 bras, because some they buy 2 pack. I mean, it could be for gift,
Wow.
I don't know.
Or maybe
But-
the whole family.
Yeah. So actually, what we realize with our existing customer is that it's a lot of word of mouth as well. So when I see an order from my friend, I'm like, hey, how come you buying all the bra in ML, XL? You buying wrong size, is it? No lah, I buy for my sisters lah. Your bra so comfortable. So it has reached the point where people are actually spreading
Word
the
of mouth
words.
business.
Yeah. So I think that is very, very good.
So Kiss Tell were once in Pavilion, Ultra Mall, and would you be taking up the challenge again for physical stores?
Not for the time being, because I know being in all these malls gives you the credibility. Like it shows that wow, even at a point, right? We were even in so many departmental stores, but it may seem like whoa, they're doing so well. But actually, I think it was like the toughest time for us because we had to order so much inventory. We had to hire so many promoters, and managing staff is not easy. Every single day, I have calls from like different department stores asking me, where's your promoter? Why are they not at work? And whoa, I don't think I would want to go through that kind of stress anymore. But then I think like mainly we realized actually all the customers, no matter where we go, they will just come to us.
Yeah.
So we don't really need to have so many stores. Like if we are targeting Klang Valley area, we just focus on one. That was why in the end I consolidated to only having one Parkson Pavilion counter for our shoes. And that's where our customers will go. They will just ask us if it's open or not. Even now that we have moved out of Atrium Mall to focus online, we still have a small little showroom in front of our office. So a lot of customers actually, they just Google and they will just show up themselves. So I believe like if you are doing what you are doing and you believe in what you are doing and customers feel the same way too, no matter where you are, they will just come to you.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
I think after the pandemic, physical store is no longer a must option.
Yeah.
A must option for a brand to, like, let's say, I don't know, like build up your
To build up your
brand
appearance,
reputation,
the brand
to
appearance,
let
and
people
also
know about your brand. Something. Because mainly people are moving on towards online already.
Yes.
I think, let's say, I think we can say like 90% of the people now, they will prefer to go online buying instead of going to physical store.
Yeah, like even for me, when I go shopping, right, I also like, okay, I go to the store and try. Then I see, oh, online, maybe if I'm buying a lot, I'll just end up going home because I don't want to carry the bags.
Yeah,
Very
correct.
heavy. So I think same applies to some of our customers also. So sometimes they come to, when we have pop-up events, right, they'll be like, hey, can you just send to me? I don't want to bring all this. So I think the customer behavior have shifted a lot.
Yeah.
So they don't mind, not seeing the products. And we have very flexible return policy. So if the size doesn't fit, you just reach out to us. More than welcome to change.
So I think that the MCO, the pandemic alone is like not only switching how we live, but also switch the behaviors of people shopping.
Yep.
And that's why we see e-commerce is actually blooming. So to share with you one interesting experience that I went through, which is basically I went to sharing with a group of students, university students. I think they are in marketing and so on. So basically there is 45 of them in the hall, and 30 of them is actually wanted to be an e-commerce brands. They wanted to start their own brands. They wanted to actually come into building their own e-commerce brands.
Yep.
And there is many of them also wanted to actually start fashion brand. So as you went through these 11 years being a fashion brand owners, right? What kind of advice that you will give all these people, or even how would you share with them in terms of like if they wanted to start a fashion brand in Malaysia?
Okay, I always believe with starting with the end in mind. So you need to know what's your purpose and what's your big why. Because starting a business is very easy. Some business you don't even need to carry inventory. You just have to register an SSM, and how much does it cost you? But to actually sustain, maintain, grow and build the business, you actually need to have a lot of dedication, grit and perseverance, resilience even. Because when you start a new journey, a lot of things can happen. There are bound to be many challenges, and it's going to be a very, very steep learning curve. As your business grow and grow, right? New challenges, new every other week maybe you'll be firefighting new issues. So this is actually like an ongoing challenge, not just for like startups, but even people who are like in the 10 million, 30 million. There will always be different kind of issues. So you must really, be prepared to face it, so that when all this shit happen, if you don't have your why, you don't have your purpose, right, you're not able to push through.
Yeah, I probably would just give up halfway, right?
Yeah. So I think like what I see in like a lot of my entrepreneurs friends is that they're very resilient. So what we always call them is like, we're all like cockroaches, we cannot be cute. Do you agree?
I agree. Totally agree with that.
It's like no matter what, we will find a way to overcome the issue, and like we will never give up.
Yeah, it's just like crawling in the mud, and the next moment you went up from the mud and you drop into another mud again. Yeah.
So like people always say, right, you have to love what you do, you have to be passionate. I think passion is just a very, very small part of it. When it comes to running a real business, you really need to like know why you're in it and then just fight for it.
You're right. I mean, I wasn't too sure if anyone ever told you this, as in like, be your own boss. so that you can enjoy the flexibilities of time, flexibilities of working life. Ever anyone that told you this?
I think nobody ever told me this, but I think that was what we saw from TV dramas. Like all the boss is like, no need to work when every day got driver fetch them, the staff do everything until you become a boss. You are the driver and you are the cooler, you are everything. So like it's not as glamorous as it seems.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting fact because basically I think probably both of us or even people around us will agree as in terms of like running a business is definitely not something as easy as what you watch in the movies or even in the dramas.
Don't believe everything you see on the TV.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's the reason why I asked you this because during that sharing session, right? So I asked them a question. I mean, asked 45 of them and said like, so why would you want to be a brand owner or why would you want to be entrepreneur? So common answers that I receive, right, is so that I can enjoy my life. Yeah, but I didn't really break their dreams or their fairy tale about running a business because basically I think that will be a bit brutal.
Yeah.
But in the brutal facts itself is that
it's like telling a kid that Santa Claus doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. So I didn't really break their fairy tales about this. Before we come to the end, so let's tell us what is coming up in Kiss and Tell. So that probably any of our audience will be interested to explore Kiss and Tell products.
Okay. If you're looking for comfortable bra, look for us.
So I just want to add on before we wrap our podcast today. Actually, Kiss and Tell sponsor us for our first short film. I don't know if you guys still remember. I mean, that's the first
the
encounter.
Chinese New Year one, right?
Yeah, the Chinese New Year short film.
Our very first short film.
In-house short film. That was the first time when I know about Kiss and Tell.
Yeah.
And then starting from there, I start to sometimes I would go and check. I actually asked my mom if she wants the samples. Then she, I have a lot already, so it's okay.
Thanks for sharing.
So basically, I think that is all for this episode. So this episode, we actually specially invite Michelle to actually share with us in terms of running the fashion brands in Malaysia and what kind of challenges that she's been through and also what kind of advice that she will give to people out there wanted to actually start your own fashion brand. And I think it's one of the interesting fact, right, is that Malaysia actually there's getting more and more local fashion brand in Malaysia. So basically, I hope what Michelle shared can be a good benefit to many of you. So thank you.
Thank you.